Hello and welcome to this presentation on enabling a master data management architecture for data centricity and digital innovation. My name is Magnus Wernersson and I've been working as a data architect for approximately 25 years, and I've been at Volvo Cars for a little bit more than 5 years, and my areas of expertise here is master data management and data warehousing. So from a master data management problem statement definition, we have immature data governance and unaligned definitions of some very significant strategical information assets, where we experience inconsistency of data throughout a landscape. Data quality needs to be improved. There is a lack of governed cross-domain relationships between various domains. We also have the challenge of analytics and reports that needs to show correct groupings and hierarchies. Our data scientists are totally overwhelmed by data preparation efforts that they are doing, so that they can't focus enough on the analytical parts of their job. Of course, product information needs to be consistent across various channels, and countries and division needs their locally managed master and reference data. Also, some information domains, we totally lack a proper system of entry and a system of record. Excel spreadsheets are used very commonly across the landscape as well for master data management today, which gives us a very scattered situation. And of course, IT strategy stipulates data center exit, and we need this data accessible on a global scale. And if you look at the container on your right-hand side here, you'll see that there are some information assets that we need to care for, of course. The sort of mess in the background there is an illustration of our data landscape. And the arrows between those nodes is actually data integration points that to some levels are also bespoke. So from a master data management architecture perspective then, our challenge is how can we create a foundation stable enough to solve this problem statement, because it could very easily look quite overwhelming. Divide and conquer. Yeah, but divide and conquer over what? Because the requirements here is like, didn't you have anything more to give us? This is absolutely a massive challenge. So we took an approach here. We, together with our implementation partner at Solita, that we divided these challenges across the master data management vector of complexity, where first of all we identified the industries from a master data management perspective that we're in. And of course we are a manufacturing company, i.e. we are an OEM. We work with retail and wholesale. That's B2B to C. Service provisioning nowadays. It's not just about manufacturing the car, it's providing the car together with a lot of services to it. So like the car is just the hardware of our software offers. And of course, direct sales to business from Volvo Car Group centrally. The master data management use cases that we need to solve is both operational, analytical, and collaborative. From an organizational structure, we need to work centralized, we need to work federated, but also localized. Of course, embrace the multi-domain master data management, because we will have parties, we will have products, we will have assets, reference data, party role extensions, cross-domain joins, but we also need an enterprise foundation for this. And the implementation style, we need consolidated, we need coexistence, and we need a centralized setup. So from a master data management vector of complexity, we are basically checking all dots. And we need to have this hosted in the cloud. So From a master data management architectural perspective, these are our challenges, and we've been working quite thoroughly with getting these fundamental architectural decisions set up in the right way. So let me just start with the strategic information assets that we do have within our company and that we have identified. These will probably not be very different from most companies. From a master data management use case perspective, we identified that we have the operational master data management use case, which you see on the left-hand side in this drawing, that actually has the purpose of aligning our strategic information assets and the data belonging to them across an operational landscape, so that these business process applications that we're utilizing to operate our business actually have a similar setup of master data in their repositories. That is a use case that requires very much of a data synchronization and master data management onboarding processes. On your right-hand side, we also see the analytical master data management use case, which is basically working on the same master and reference data, but the nature is a little bit more dimensionalized on that side, so that our data scientists can quickly explore their algorithms and do the work that they need based on the same set of master and reference data that we are utilizing to operate the business or run the business. We have also identified that you see that there's sort of a pyramid within the master data management container there. The master data management container carries business data rules, functionalities for data governance, etc., but also our data models and of course the data store, and it's equipped with very capable integration engines and API engines. And some of the master data needs to be aligned across the entire enterprise. Hence, it will end up in the top layer of that pyramid. It's enterprise-level domains and reference data that needs to be aligned across the entire group. Of course, the level of governance and the level of governance there is quite high, and the level of agility is a little bit lower. Another common challenge is in the business information domains that you see in the center of that pyramid, where you need to align across a bigger set of applications and persons, but you don't have to align on the enterprise level, which gives that a little bit, it is a little bit easier with the alignment of the master data in that layer. And the lowest level of that pyramid is the application extensions that we can do, where basically you're utilizing the same master data management capabilities, but you're only aligning this across a very few set of applications. And there you can be very agile in your work, and you don't have to have at all the same level of data governance in that layer. Because very quickly, when people hear about master data management, they think that you need to align everything of this across the entire corporation, and that could be very, very challenging. And one of the massive misunderstanding of master data management, or MDM, is the word master, because what people instinctively think is that that's your system of entry and that's your system of record. And that is not all the case. It can be the case, but it doesn't have to be. It's a lot more about management and governance of your master and reference data. We could be a system of reference, provisioning good master data to consumers. We don't have to be the system of entry or the system of record. And that's the beauty of it, and we will see that when we come to the implementation styles a little bit later. So these were the operational and analytical use cases. From a cloud enablement perspective, both that we didn't want to focus our work on hardware, infrastructure, networks, backups, and these things. We would like a professional partner to solve these issues for us. And here the offer from Semarchy XDM as a service that they are performing here together with Solita fits like a glove for our use case. So that we are just subscribing to the XDM runtime environments, and Volvo Cars can focus on the master data management solutions that we need for our purposes. Also very key for us here to avoid a scattered master data management situation is to embrace the multi-domain MDM architecture. Because regardless of the business domain or data domain that you are attacking here, basically the same buffet of MDM capabilities will be required. They will be quite differently composed and configured and utilized depending upon the business needs of your information domain, but it will basically be a very similar set of capabilities. That, of course, a good platform will give you out of the box. This is also very key for the skill sets that you need, that you could centralize the skill sets on a certain platform so that you can be faster when moving forward here. And of course also that we could create a more generic enterprise layer to share data that is of similar nature. For example, a customer is an organization, and within a customer there will also be people acting on behalf of these organizations. A retailer will have a retailer site set up. They will be legal entities in their own right. They will have employees. And we will also have internal staff here. And some of those persons and organization will act in multiple roles. So if you get an update on, for example, a last name of a customer or an employee, we are actually consolidating that data to our enterprise layer in order to be able to distribute it across different data domains. And of course, the Semarchy XDM platform gives us a lot of capabilities there, everything from supporting data governance and data stewardship, data object lifecycles, etc., but also data policies and standards and data security. So Semarchy XDM is a very out-of-the-box, very rich master data management solution. And if you have a good team able to operate that platform and who knows their master data management, one can be very, very effective. As opposed to having different master data management platforms for the various domains, then you need to multiply your teams on using different skill sets, etc. On the left-hand side, you see something called the consolidated style, or a style that utilizes cross-references of keys. On the right-hand side, you see transactional style, where you're using one stable key throughout the entire landscape. So consolidated style versus transactional style. Now we're going to spend half a minute here on something called the coexistence implementation style, which by far is the most misunderstood concept in the master data management community altogether. Doesn't matter which books you read or which vendors you spoke to, they will all have a different explanation of what that is. And it's very easy to get your mind thinking that it's data that coexists in sources and in your centralized MDM hub. That could be true, of course, but the word coexistence is about coexistence of the implementation styles. One of them using cross-references of key, the other one being transactional. So the coexistence style is a coexistence of two different architectural patterns. And in order to support the consolidated style, we are utilizing our transactional style hub, sourcing the data into the consolidated style hub to do the matching algorithms, to find potential duplicates, etc., and to enrich data. So from an organizational approach here, we have had a history of utilizing a centralized enterprise data warehouse with a centralized data model and a centralized team developing on that solution. In these data mesh eras that is happening right now, where there is no chance in hell that you could centralize everything and make it agile and fast enough, because you will simply be overwhelmed and drown in requirements. So in order to support data mesh approach from an organizational perspective, we have this pyramid as a reminder in there, where the top of the pyramid was the things that you need definitely to align on enterprise level. The center one are business data domains, where you need to align across a domain like customer data or retailer data or product data. And the lowest one were the scenarios where you just needed to align across a few applications. So in our business, it's very much divided into a commercial zone, into an industrial zone, into a corporate zone. Because we are 40,000 employees, a little bit more. So of course our corporate domain is quite extensive, quite big. There are a lot of things to keep track of. And us being a car manufacturer and an OEM, of course our industrial domain is very strong, very powerful, and very central for us. The commercial side has always been strong, but now with the new business models, it needs to be even stronger. And these three domains or areas of our department, they have quite different requirements on the data that they need to work with, but some of the data also being shared between them. And then we also have our data platform team that consists of data management specialists within the area of master data management, data warehousing, data integration, data lake, analytics, etc. And in there we will have master data management architects and specialists that are very, very proficient in utilizing the XDM as a service or Semrush XDM platform in order to create solutions. But we couldn't just sit and wait for the industrial, corporate, and commercial domains to provide us with the requirements. Because, first of all, they had this sort of reluctancy towards centralizing their initiatives. They needed to be in control of their data. So what we then did was that we went out with the Semrush XDM platform together with master data management architects and MDM specialists, assisting them in their own initiatives with the solutions that they needed, which meant that they got a premium platform to create their solution on, and they had the expertise from the centralized data management team to create good and proper master data management solutions. And of course, the skills, the processes, the platforms was now considered from the commercial, corporate, and industrial domains that, okay, it belongs to us. Now it's our ball game, it's good. And we appreciate the platform and the support that you can give us. But we also need to feed back to the centralized platform some of the data that these guys were working with. Because if the commercial domain is working with customers, they will work with organizations and persons. If the corporate domain here is working with employees and suppliers, consultant suppliers, and the internal organization, they will work with organizations and persons. We consolidated all the customer organizations and persons and all the corporate organizations and persons into a party domain that we were having in this centralized part, so that we could actually integrate data from these multiple sources into the lowest level of anatomy that you could find. And also being able to push that some of that data back to the domains. And of course, we could, from a centralized perspective, there come with the governance routines and governance processes on how do you do data governance here. Thank you very much. That was the presentation on master data management architecture from Volvo Car Group.